Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 47 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by our wonderful producer in training, Charlotte.
Hi.
And our special guest who's filling in for Cameron while he's away. Previous host of the Real Gamer School podcast, and all around good bloke. Kirby couldn't make it, so we got Alex.
Mate, and after I bought this beanie, especially for the occasion, definitely has nothing to do with losing my Xbox Fan Fest beanie and also my Gears of War 4 Special Edition beanie. No, this is definitely not the first time I've ever worn it.
Yeah, you fit right in. No one would be able to tell that you know.
Oh yeah, choice A, bro. You want to play some rugby?
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
We'll get some fish and chips while we're at it. Oh yeah, choice.
Choice, cuz.
Don't encourage him, Charlotte. Don't know.
Yeah, I don't need the encouragement. Everyone knows this. Tangents all around.
Yeah, guys. So we're off to a running start. Hello everyone. It's the was it the Real Hall of Gamers Score podcast? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is this, a crossover episode?
I need to change the title. We're up to 47, yes.
We are up to 47, yes.
And it's not the 1 year special.
So when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force or something?
Unstoppable. Yeah, immovable object. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Nailed it.
Okay, there we go. I called it producer in training.
There you go.
Episode title, clip of the week done in the first 2 minutes.
It's easy. We'll get to song of the week, and I might just sign off. As usual, we're doing the show live on Twitch, as you can probably fucking tell, because I'm not going to edit any of this for the audio version. Hall of Gamers Pod is the place to come hang out. We've got a lot of us in the chat. We've got Cameron in the chat. We've got Alison in the chat. We've got Kingsman. We've got who else? We got Bulbasaur. I think Keo showed up for a little bit there. Yeah, so we're all hanging out. Come ask questions, post that kind of stuff. We very much appreciate it. But of course, we get onto the time-honored tradition of Song of the Week. Now, who wants to take bets that it doesn't work the first time Charlotte tries it?
Hey, fuck you.
Nah, it's going to be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, take it away.
You ready?
Yeah. Just a psychic girl hiding from the evil world. She fights the zealotry that is everywhere. Just a talking ship, born of some experiment. He's hunting for revenge on everyone. A civil war that starts to brew, with battleships and evil dudes. But together they can win the fight, and they drift on and on and on and on with faceless monsters showing up all over now. Their madness for the eternal night, corrupting people, mind control and teleporting, messing with everyone's mind. Just a psychic.
Thank you, Matt.
You're very much welcome. Yeah. So yes, I imagine everyone got that one. I tried to pick the easiest song possible. Cameron has been complaining that I haven't picked this artist for a long time, so I decided that the first week that he wasn't here that I jumped straight on it. Mm-hmm. So
what a shame he still doesn't even know it.
No, he hasn't got a clue. No, he hasn't got a clue. But what about you guys? Do you guys know what it is, by any chance?
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, nah, this is unlike Matt to make one.
I know, to actually
it's a song
do
that
it.
sounds like this one. It's actually not. And as I got home, I was listening to it in my car. Sorry to break the immersion that we hear it first time live on the show, maybe, but my wife's sister was pulling up just behind me as I was listening to it, because I listened to it twice just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I think I know it. And she's like, what were you listening to? I'm like, no, I was listening to the Song of the Week. And she's like, oh. I go, I think that it's Journey, Don't Stop Believing. She's like, but I'm like, no, I think someone's trying to play tricks on me. She's like, Nah. I thought you were listening to
He
Journey.
never played tricks on you. What?
That sounds very much like Matt. He would love
Oh,
it.
100%.
I would, but trolling Cameron takes priority over just about anything. So I figured that would,
So Cameron thinks that it's Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yeah, that's definitely it. That was my other choice because he was complaining that I don't do any Blue Oyster Cult songs. But yes, it was Journey. Don't Stop Believing.
Mm-hmm.
I did a bit of an extended version just because I like that song so much.
That's a tune, man.
It's a good one. It's a real good one. Cameron, I can see in the chat, has complained that I didn't do the guitar noises. I didn't do the riff, but I figured
I mimed it.
Yeah, I guess people would figure it out otherwise.
I couldn't hear it, but I'm like, maybe that's the bit where they're doing the chorus. And then I was like, actually, no, the chorus wasn't in it. So
we didn't even get to the chorus. That's the thing.
I was just so excited about it.
There's like 3 verses before they even get to the chorus, and I was like, I could get to the chorus, but I was like, I felt like I had to at least get a couple of verses in.
Yeah.
Can I, before we go into, I know we're about to go into all of the housekeeping, can I just tangent just for 1 second?
Go for it.
I listened to, straight after your song, my friend posted to me that Casey Chambers, Australian people will probably know who she is. Mm-hmm. She's, I think she's a pretty big country artist. At least in Australia she is, but she did a cover of Eminem's Lose Yourself, which she posted 15 hours ago. And my friend posted this to me. I'm like, I don't really like Casey Chambers. It's not really my kind of music. Nothing against her, but not really my thing. I listened to it and I was just like, it's fucking sick, man.
Cool.
Like, I really liked it. So if you're listening to this in 3 months' time, like new listener to the podcast, pause this show, go listen to Casey Chambers' cover of Lose Yourself, and then come back and then join the Discord and tell me how good it was.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, I love Eminem in general, so I think that he's got a lot of good songs. So, strong foundation to work from. So, actually, I might go listen to that after this. So I guess we should probably get into our questions. Yeah, I guess normally, we would do the whole interview thing and ask our guest who he is and that kind of stuff. But if you don't know who Alex is,
don't need to know that.
No, I mean, come on. You guys really should have figured. I mean, to be fair, everyone listening to this by now will probably know who you are, Alex. I mean, you've been on the show before. You were with us with our Real Gamer School back in the day. Mm-hmm. I guess how you been? What have you been up to?
Man, it's been pretty hectic. I was just telling you guys before the show, I got a new role at work, so I'm loving it. I actually really like the work. I know I was complaining about it a bit before the show. I love the work. It's just too much, so much of it, which I guess, given the last 2 years, that's probably a fortunate position to be in because the evidence, at least for me, is everywhere around is that, not everyone is so fortunate. Everything's being disrupted. Like, for one example that directly affected me, we're flying interstate. In September, we booked a flight straight there and straight back, and they've already amended one of our flights to stop along the way. And for those that don't know, I have a daughter that's going to turn 2 next month. I do not want to spend additional time in a plane with a toddler, even if it's my toddler.
Fair.
So she's not at that point where she can sit still unless she's watching Bluey, but I don't want her to watch Bluey for 3 hours straight.
It's a long time to be watching Bluey.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not really sure what else we're going to do. So, but apart from that, I mean, my daughter's turning 2 next month, so that's exciting. She didn't get to have her first birthday because of COVID, so this will be her first birthday. That's exciting.
That's crazy to think that it's been 2 years.
Yeah, man, COVID, baby.
Nuts.
I was thankfully allowed to be there for the birth, but I could only visit my wife for 2 hours the following days. I couldn't stay with her.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It sucked, but I mean, I'm not the only one that went through that, but I will not forget that in a hurry.
Yeah.
But in lighter news, I've been turning on the Xbox, trying to get some things done, because I'm aware that as my daughter gets older, she's probably going to start playing sports and, going to school, seeing her friends, and my time is going to become more and more and more limited. So I'm trying to get through some things that I want to get through before that starts happening. But yeah, just been powering through that. I'm almost at what am I at? 800 nearly 800. I need to
That's awesome.
maybe borrow Cameron's account and power through all those. What do they call it? The Zidalon games.
Yeah, right.
I've
5,000 a pop.
games.
I made a mistake of starting about 3 or 4 of them, and now some of them are catching up to 5,000. I'm like, thank God. Actually, that DCF game, the fighting one, just came up with an update that doesn't work, and I'm like, oh yes, that's at 5,000 now. Thank goodness.
And so what Tony and Clyde, I think, was the other one that got an update.
Yes, Tony and Clyde also got an update, but that one actually works. So I don't know what's happening with this fighting one. What's it called? Cruise Brothers or something?
Cruise Brothers.
Yeah, Cruise Brothers. Yeah,
it wasn't that bad, but I mean, I played
okay.
it. I played it a year ago at this point, and it's had multiple updates since then. So yeah, time's been flying. We're going away to Hamilton Island, so that's going to be pretty good. Looking forward to that. It's for my mother-in-law's 60th birthday, which happened last year. I think we couldn't go because of COVID. Yeah, we got rescheduled. So the problem is we're flying out. It's either the day before or the day of the AFL Grand Final.
Oh, mate.
So we had better not be delayed, or Qantas gonna have a real bad time. But I've already said so. I said, look, we're gonna get there, and hopefully the hotel's got a bar. And if they've got a bar, they've got a screen. And I said, I'm out for a few hours, and I'm just going to sink cans and watch the grand final, because that's what I would be doing if I was staying in Melbourne. We usually have a group of people that get together and watch it. And hey, maybe Collingwood will make it in. I know Mad Rakatansky was hoping that they would make it in. I hope so too. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate the support. Playing Kirby's team in the footy this week, so hopefully we just smash them by 10 goals or something. That'd be good. But yeah, I mean, other than that, like things don't change all that much. You know, just keep on keeping on. I still haven't finished Gears of War 4.
Has
anyone surprised?
Yeah, I mean, come on, you know.
Hey, Slayer Raining has.
Yeah, wow, that's
I know he's a beast. I think he's finished Gears of War 5 as well.
Wow, jeez.
He's done the whole series, like even the remaster, even I think he's done Gears Tactics as well.
Jesus.
And I think even the Japan Gears of War 2, like he's done it.
I mean, I like Gears, but like that's fucking I ain't got time for that. I went back to Gears 3 recently, right, just to clean up some of the other achievements, and I was looking at it, and so I only have CFC 3.0 left now, and I was like,
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right, and I was talking, and so Mike and Admiral have been working on it, and so I just was like, yeah, and
really,
and they were working on it, and so I was, because Mike helped me out with one of the achievements. Sorry, no, Admiral did. Sorry, Admiral helped me out with the Silverback achievement, because I didn't want to level it up. He's like, oh, I've got one because I've been doing this. And I was like, oh, yeah, how's it going?
In the Mech Warrior thing?
Yeah, and getting like the rocket kills or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, you can just use mine. I was like, oh, how's the boost going? Because I was like, oh, maybe I'll jump on and maybe I'll play. They're like, oh yeah, you know, we're like 6 months in and we barely scratched the surface. And I was like,
literally, they've been doing it. They have dedicated days that they do it each week. Like there's 3 days a week that they do it for about 3 or 4 hours a day. Yeah. And they've been doing this for 6 months.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what?
Going.
That's wild.
Like I'm dedicated and a little bit insane, right? But I'm not.
But that's like next level.
Wow, it's 11 ratio. Last time I looked at it, it was 9. So I guess more people have started and not finished it. But my friend Dean, my in real life friend who also plays Xbox friend, he finished Gears of War 3 recently. I'm just trying to find him on the list if he's the most recent one to earn it. No, he's not. He's not even on the most recent page. 3,017 people have it. Oh, no, these are the offline unlocks.
Yeah.
The offline
Yeah, correct.
unlocks.
The unlocks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but he finished it. But the thing is, he's nuts. Like, he's proper completionist.
Right.
Like, he had Super Meat Boy he finished recently. And he finishes games like that and he sends me a message. The thing is, he works night shift. And so his clock is totally out to the rest of his family. So on nights that he's not working, he's just got hours straight, man. Like a work day full. So he can work on these absolute nonsense achievements that he's working on.
He's got the time to do it.
But he was, months, but he was doing it like a lot of nights. Yeah, he's mental, but he's a pretty good gamer actually. He keeps telling me we're going to finish Gears of War 4 and Perfect Dark Zero.
Oh,
I'm not convinced about either of those.
Perfect Dark Zero, fuck me. Doing that with Mike on co-op was rough enough, and then it was like, okay, cool. Now I have to go back and do all those levels again.
You have to do it all and get the completion yourself. Well, Mike's done it.
Mike did it. Mike got through it, and I got I did the first the tutorial level and got to the nightclub level, and I did it a few times. Got right towards the end, died like 10 times, and I was like, you know what? I got better things to do with my time. I don't need this in my life.
It's funny. It's so funny you say that because I'm like, that would be me on Dark Souls. But you change the game. I mean, it has dark in the name. Like, get there,
it's
mate.
true. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's true. I mean, I like Dark Souls. Like, it's a little bit different, though.
Just a little. Yeah. But I will not. I will not go back and do the single player. If Dean ever really wants to finish co-op, because I reckon we got about 6 levels in. Because we got the 5 level achievement, did maybe 1 more. So we got the rest to do. If he wants to go back and do it, I guess we will. But he can come and ask me. I'm not going to be like, hey, you want to do this? Because I don't.
The last thing I'll say about it is that it's really also annoying to go back and watch guides for the game. Because it came out it came out during the 420p era. Before it was, it's a 360 launch title.
And they're square videos, not
square videos, real fucking low resolution. They're all in 10-minute chunks and shit because that was YouTube's stuff back then. It's a nightmare. And they all have really shitty splash screens of the person's name and no dialogue or voiceover or anything because it's all just shitty stuff they made in Movie Maker. Yeah.
Times have moved on from that.
Yeah, a little bit. Speaking of moving on, let's go to our questions. So Cameron posted our question of the week. Cookie side or chocolate side better when eating an ice cream sandwich? Now, when he says ice cream sandwich, he's referring to a Maxibon. Yes. But since they don't sponsor us, I'm not going to say the name again.
No.
Generic ice cream sandwich.
The one and only time we're going to refer to it as Maxibon.
Yeah, exactly. The ice cream sandwich formerly known as Maxibon.
Yeah.
I always eat the chocolate side first because I have to hold you have to hold the cookie side.
You have to hold the cookie side.
Yeah, like that.
Otherwise, the chocolate side's going to melt in your hand.
Yeah, that's like grabbing
a
Magnum.
How slow do you eat these? That's
a problem. I did beat Cameron in a race when eating one at PAX that last time. I'll just remind you.
What was your time?
It was quick. It was 30-something seconds. I demolished it. It was I was impressed. They even gave me a shirt with a giant fucking Maxibon on.
Yeah,
Did you see the Maxibon pajamas?
I did not.
Oh, I'll see if I can find a link to them and I'll post it. But damn, they're pretty tight.
All right. I mean, again, I'm hoping that they have the Maxibon challenge again at PAX this year because I'm gonna go for a rematch.
Interesting PAX.
We'll see. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm really curious about how that's going to go. I mean, we're all going, which is great.
Yeah.
So I'm just interested to see, how is it going to be structured? How much social distancing is going to be happening?
Not much.
Are people going to be wearing fucking masks?
I will be double masking every single day.
I will be masking the whole time. I'm fucking about.
I'm going to see what the cases are because I know the last time I looked at it, we were about 10,000 a day.
Yeah.
I think Victoria's population is about 4 or 5 million.
That's currently what we've been having here is 10,000 a day.
Yeah. We did get down to about 4,000 or 5,000 for a while, but I think it's starting to peak again.
It's because there's a new strain
Omicron BA4 or variant or whatever it is. But I think a lot of people are just burned out on it. They're like, I don't care, man. Just let me live my life and get it.
My problem is that I'm immunocompromised. So I've literally been out for 2 weeks and I'm still coughing and I'm still technically sick. I don't have COVID anymore, but I don't want this to happen again. I'm very protective of the fact that I am immunocompromised. I'm I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned this to any of you guys, but when I had COVID, the worst part I found was the chills. At night, the first night I went to bed and I was shivering, and it wasn't a cold night. It's autumn, so it was probably about 13, 14 degrees outside, so pretty warm for a night, I suppose. That's in Celsius, not freedom units. But then I started shivering my ass off, and I said to my wife, because she had it too, I'm like, this would be a really shit way to die.
Right. Yeah.
And that was the thought that entered my mind. Like, shivering, coughing my head off. And I'm just like, yeah, you know, for those people that did die, I mean, it kind of put things into perspective a little bit for me. But yeah,
that's also the worst part about it, I think.
And thankfully for the vaccination, you know, I had the vaccination. I still think I had a milder response because of that. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't fun.
No.
Yeah, so I'm slightly terrified because I haven't had it yet. I mean, obviously I'm fully vaxxed and all that sort of shit. So, you know, if I do get it, I hope it's not too bad. But
you'll survive. If I survived, you'll survive.
I mean, look. To be fair, I'm probably more at risk from the basement chicken we'll get on the first night. That's probably, you know, like that's probably gonna knock me out my ass.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a strategy, man. Get gastro before you get COVID. You won't even know about the COVID.
You'll be fine.
Just vomiting and shooting. I don't know if I can even say that on Twitch. You might get a ban, but it'll be coming both ways, and you won't even think about the COVID. Oh, the coughing while you have it.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Thankfully, I'm not staying anywhere near you, mate. Like that's
exactly. I think it's probably for the best. But yeah, so the answer is eating the chocolate side first, cookie side second. I think is the correct answer.
Yes, I eat the chocolate side first. Not because it melts in your hand, but because the cookie side is the superior side, and you want to finish with that superior side.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think so too, actually, because it's like I like both sides differently, but I think the thing is that like if I wanted like ice cream covered in chocolate, like there are like 10 other chocolate like ice creams that I could buy, right? Like I could get a Magnum ones. I get like a Memphis. I could get
Magnum almond. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or you get like you get a choc bar or something.
Yeah, choc bar or something. Exactly. Yeah. Whereas like like the cookie stuff is a little rarer, so I definitely enjoy that more.
Yeah.
Isaac has also asked a question. Hey guys, were there any games on Game Pass that have left that you would like to see return? Thanks for the show. You're very welcome, Isaac.
I think the quick answer for that's no, because we finished them, didn't we? We valid them.
That's the kind of
it's
for the most part.
We're valicking them still, because technically there's still like a couple more days.
Yeah, there's always a few that I'm always on the edge about. Like the Chris Tales ones from earlier this month, and I was like, because I know Dio did them, and I was like, I was actually kind of wish I had time to get to them. But you
would have had time if you'd started it sooner.
Yeah, but I was also doing Children of Mortar at the same time was the other problem. So
yeah, that's true.
So there's that. The only other ones I kind of wish were still on that list. Darksiders Genesis, because I'm always looking for new co-op stuff, and I think that left before. I think it might have been before you got your Xbox there, Charlotte, or it would have been right.
There are a few that left before I got my Xbox that I would have wanted to play either with you or myself. Like I have a small list that I was like mildly annoyed that they'd left like right as I got my Xbox. I was like, no, why?
Like which ones?
Let me just make this window bigger because then I can see it properly. I've got a couple that are on my wish list that I didn't complete because at the time I didn't really have the energy to Valak them as they were leaving. So like Night in the Woods, I don't have complete. River City Girls, I didn't complete it. The Messenger.
Yeah, Night in the Woods. Actually, I wanted to play that. Yeah, that's a good one.
That one, there was just no chance. Not with the guitar stuff.
It's like 20 to 25 hours or something.
Yeah,
it's not too bad, but you got to play through it twice, which is quite annoying.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and like I did most of that stuff with the guitar stuff. I just would not have been able to do it. And the Messenger, and one that I wanted to play, but I never got the chance to because it left right as I got my Xbox was the Talos Principle. Like that was a big one for me that I really wanted to play, and I never got the chance to. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Talos Principle, which is so weird because it came from the same people who did Serious Sam, and it's such a different kind of game. Like it's.
Did you like Serious Sam?
I like Serious Sam 4, but only because it's like you put it on easy, you put it on tourist difficulty, you give yourself unlimited ammo and just shoot the shit out of things for like 10 hours.
Unless you're a stupid ass like me and don't do that.
You should probably do that, yeah.
I put it on normal, and then I switched down to easy because I'm like, some of the areas they just throw I mean, as the game goes on, they throw more and more enemies at you, and it just gets more ridiculous even on normal.
Yeah.
But by that time, you can't turn in infinite ammo on during your playthrough.
Oh, really?
I was about 4 or 5 levels in, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not starting this again. And I was struggling because I didn't have many weapons, and there was not much ammo around for the ones that I did have. And I'm like, oh man, I liked it well enough. But I guess to come back to Isaac's question, there's nothing that I can really think of that I want to come back. I guess the only thing that I would want to come back is something so that other people could experience it maybe for the first time.
Yeah.
To answer that question, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Because I look at what's going and I go, well, if I want to play that, I'll play it. But I guess, you know, I'm in a fortunate position where if something's leaving and I want to play it, I mean, I'll just buy it. So
yeah, fair.
Yeah, it's you know, that money versus time paradox that we all have to manage.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I played so much stuff on Game Pass. Like I'm looking through this list, and like a lot of the stuff is stuff I already own, so it's kind of not of an issue. But yeah, it's like again, like the Metro games are in there. People should play those. Metal Gear Solid stuff is in there. Creature in the Well. Again, like I like that sort of smaller stuff that like I normally wouldn't have looked at, like some interesting indie games.
Was Dead Island ever on Game Pass? I don't think it was it?
I don't think so. I think Riptide was, right? I think where like the Xbox One version.
Maybe.
I think, yeah.
I mean, I finished it. Obviously, finished that years ago.
Right. I was going to say it's your favorite game, yeah.
Not Riptide, not my favorite.
Riptide's a little rough.
It's one of those things like a family member. You know, you love them, but you can see the flaws.
Yeah, that's. I think that's a healthy attitude to have.
Yeah. That's why I say it's my favorite game. Not it's the best game,
right?
Because it isn't. It isn't the best game. That wooden ass voice acting. Oh my god. But yeah, no, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
People should look at like Turing tests and stuff like that. And
that was good fun, actually. Yeah.
I really liked the game. It was really cool. I liked the story with it, and I kind of like the idea behind it. It was really sort of interesting. Yeah, there's a whole list of like, apparently there was like 577 games so far that have been in Game Pass and been removed. That includes PC as well, though, so not everything had achievements, but yeah, there's a lot. But yeah, let us know what you think, Isaac. I'd be curious to hear kind of stuff that you might have missed. One I always wanted to try was Greedfall, but that was one of those ones where I was like, I probably should just buy it because it's one of those longer titles that I don't really think I'd give it enough time. And then Cameron has also asked, what's one life skill you would have loved to have Xbox achievements as motivation to spend time on? E.g., learn the guitar, Spanish, to code, etc. Cameron.
Real life achievements. Can I have real life save points instead?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Just reset to a save point.
I was gonna say I've seen ReZero. I know how that works out most of the time, and it's not great.
No.
ReZero. What is that? An anime?
It's a very good anime. So basically, the gist of it is it's like an isekai. So the guy from a regular world dies and ends up in like a fantasy world.
Yeah.
But he finds out that every time he dies in that fantasy world, and he dies a lot, it resets that day basically until he gets to a certain point where it's a save point. And it's really messed up because he gets massively traumatized because he dies a lot.
Yeah.
And he learns things about people, and then they obviously forget them. So he learns all the horrible things about these people who betray him, and it's actually like really interesting and compelling. It's sort of like a deconstruction of the sort of standard isekai genre.
I think your Wii power level is showing, hey?
A little bit.
I've just sidetracked us again.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I don't
achievements for real life skills. Can I get achievements for getting achievements on my Xbox?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Achievementception, just about?
Yeah, I mean, like, you could get an achievement for completing a specific game or something like that. Like, each time you complete a game, you then get an achievement in life for completing that game.
I'll make my own platinum trophies with blackjack and hookers.
Yeah. I mean, learning a language would be cool, because then, like, if you get to a certain point or a certain skill level, then, like, that would be quite cool. It would give me more incentive to learn more.
That Duolingo has things you can share online. Is it Duolingo? It has things
There's
you can share online when
stuff.
you hit certain day streaks and stuff. So I guess that kind of...
It's not
Xbox achievements, but it kind of is like that.
they kind of do the carrot and the stick with that, right?
Yeah.
Quite literally, because it's like, yeah, like they have the leaderboards for if you do it, and then the Duolingo owl comes and threatens to break your legs if you don't get back to Spanish. So it's like, okay, you get a lot of motivation for it. I enjoy doing it for Japanese. It's completely fucking useless, but I enjoy doing it as like a fun sort of thing just to kill time on my phone. And, learn that the word for rice is gohan.
Mm-hmm.
Gohan.
Mm-hmm.
Gohan.
Nice.
There's a lot of food names in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I do know that. I did know. I would like to have achievements for playing sport. So I play indoor cricket on Monday nights, and I play hockey on the weekends, and I play outdoor cricket on the weekends in summer. I play my first season of outdoor cricket. But man, I'll make, if there was a 10,000 runs achievement, like in Big Bash Boom, I would have it. I would legitimately have it by now.
Yeah.
And there'd be like obscure ones, like hit 7 sevens in a game or something. I don't know that I've done that, but stuff like that would be cool. But actually, I kind of do that with my friend. My batting partner is probably one of the best batters, at least on Monday night, maybe in the center. He'd be in the top 3, I'd say. But because he's so good, he like forces me to be good as well. So I remember the first ball that you face is worth double. So if you go out, you lose 10 runs instead of 5. So I said to him, he always faces the first ball. I said, what we should do one day, and this is, I guess, me kind of making an achievement up. So if you hit a 7, it's 14 on the first ball. I said, what we should do is you should hit a 7, and then we should run again. So we risk going from 14 to -10,
right,
to get 2 more runs, and which is mental. You wouldn't do it; it's stupid. But we did it. We did it the very next game, and it was kind of there. It was lucky the keeper took it and it went up in the air.
Oh, yep.
Otherwise, I was gone. But so I guess stuff like that. It'd be interesting to see what achievements could be there, because like I said, if it's cumulative ones, like play this many games, I've done it. 10,000 runs, I've done it. Some stuff like that. But hockey wouldn't have the achievement for winning a premiership yet in winter, which is the main competition, the proper competition. Lost 2 or 3 grand finals. Yeah,
that's always an achievement in and of itself, right?
Yeah, like that's pretty.
That's like that achievement in Fear for killing yourself 5 times with a grenade or something.
The new one,
Suicide King or whatever it's called.
Suicide King, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean,
a 0 point achievement,
kind of
close but no cigar. Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
I don't know. I mean, I remember this is probably going to date me a little bit, but there was a talk at DICE. Which it was a conference. I think his name was Jesse Shells, I think was the guy's name. It's been a long time, but this was, 10, 15 years ago almost. And he was talking about how it was talking about gamification of everyday life and how like that kind of stuff encourages people. And he basically pictured like was a hellscape, to be honest, when you think about it. But around the thing where it's like, you get points for everything that you do, right? And it's like, okay, you brush your teeth and your insurance company gives you some points because they're like, okay, you keep your premiums down because you keep yourself healthy and doing all sort of stuff. And like, your friend has a new like ink tattoo, like digital tattoo that shows an ad, and it shows an ad, and you say the name of the ad, and he says the name of the ad, you do a high five, and that means you get extra points. And like it does this whole thing around like, also you get points for taking public transport and points for doing this and points for doing that, and just kind of like gamifying the world. And then using those points on discounts for like power or health insurance or whatever we want to use them for, right? Because you're proving that you're doing these things. And he talked about how you potentially get achievements tied to your, life ID or whatever it is. Again, this is kind of like metaverse stuff, which is kind of what it turned into, right? Which we'll talk a little bit about. And he was like, yeah, it's like, people like, you get hey, you've read 1,000, this is your 1,000th book that you've read in your lifetime. And you look at it and it's some fucking, shitty, 50 Shades of Grey fan fiction that you found. And you're like, wow, this is really embarrassing. This is going to be, I'm now going to have this against my name for the rest of my life. And like, again, like it's a dystopian, ridiculous future, right? But it was an interesting idea of like, okay, if we took gamification to its like logical extreme, Like, because my first thought was like, oh, like I've started going to the gym recently, and like that would be really good to have like achievements or something to help me motivate me a bit more. And then I was like, people kind of already do that, right? Like that's basically what Fitbit does, and what's what Apple Watch does, right? It's like they will be like, oh, you did this, you earned this, you earned this, and it's like it's because people get motivated when they see the bars filling up and the circles filling up and points going up. But I think you're right, Alex, in that before achievements were even a thing, we kind of made our own fun in games, right? We put our own restrictions on challenges. We're like, hey, I'm going to get 100% of this. I'm only going to use this weapon. Like speedrunners have been doing it forever. Achievements have just kind of made it more of a easy to share, more of a unified experience.
What you were describing before sounds to me a lot like is it Chinese social credit score?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
System that they have. I don't know that much about it, but if I thought that through, that sounds like what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went. And again, like this was at a conference, 15 years ago. So they were just kind of like pitching. I was like, oh, this could be an interesting idea for how video games interact with everyday life and how you get coins and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, but it's also kind of really fucked up because that means you're going to be tracked every moment of your entire life for them to do for a system like that. Of course, it would never work in real life outside of maybe China because, how are we going to get? I can barely get 3 systems that work to speak together, let alone every individual piece of technology to track you all the time and to feed back all that information to a single database. Good fucking luck.
They could just use the Kinect 2.0 to track you. It works pretty well, right?
That unless you're black, apparently. That's the one thing. Yeah. So,
wow, man.
What? That's true. The Kinect. That was a big story when the Kinect came out. People were reminiscing about the Kinect the other day. I know we're going off on another tangent, but
that's not even my fault this time.
No, were you even surprised by this? Like,
no, not even a little bit. But I think the I don't know. I think that it was people were like, oh, the whole thing about like Milo and when it was called Project Natal, and I saw there was some thread on Reddit where people were like, oh, like showing all the gifs from that E3 with the Star Wars dancing and the lightsaber on guy and the guy doing all the stuff, and just oh my god, and like we were like, man, this was like there wasn't a lot of people saying cringe back then, but looking back at it, you're like, wow, how the fuck did this thing sell anything? Because
it got bundled with it. That's
exactly.
That's
right,
how it sold.
Kinect is absolutely
same as Wii Sports, right?
Well, like Kinect Adventures or whatever is like one of the best-selling Xbox games of all time because it was bundled with every Kinect. And I can't think of a single person that has ever said to me, "Man, I really miss the Kinect." Like it never had
bundled with the Xbox One.
Also, the Kinect 2 was right.
No, but the game.
No, so that's the thing. It's like it was bundled with that, but it didn't come with any games. I don't think. There were no Kinect games. Like that's why they eventually axed it from the bundle because they were like, oh shit, we put a device in here that doesn't do anything, that doesn't play any games, and no one wants to use it.
Yeah, because I remember when I bought my Xbox 360, it came with Hexic.
Yeah,
it was the first one that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So glad that never ended up on my gamer tag.
It's a hard game. It's a really hard game. Hexic HD, yeah.
That last Black Pearl, man.
All right. Anything else, or we want to move on into the news?
Probably news.
All right,
Cameron, what have you gathered for us this week in the news?
Fuck all. I had to find it all myself.
Damn it, Cameron. What have you been doing all week, man?
Unbelievable.
He's taking a break. Leave him alone.
Yeah. So Annapurna has recently announced that they've got 5 more games coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Which is great because we're all big fans of Annapurna and the kind of interesting work they do. It doesn't always work out, but I'm always interested in kind of what they got going. 12 minutes was kind of a bit of a misstep, but
I think it just needed a bit more time in the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the story is good.
I think it's interesting. Yeah.
The story was interesting.
In terms of that game format, it doesn't quite work.
I was very lucky because I'm kind of nuts, right? And I just kind of happened upon the right sequence for that game, and it kind of worked out for me in a way that I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I had a little bit of trouble, but I kind of figured it out.
I happened across it as well. It was called The Walkthrough.
Yeah, right. That's right. I remember there was a lot of people who were like, okay, so the part with the picture, it's like you had to look at the picture before you picked it up. And like, I just did that instinctually, right?
Do you know what mine was? It was the grate under the sink.
Right. Yep. And that's, exactly. So there's lots of little things like that. But again, we don't really have any dates for this stuff yet, but they recently announced coming this year, apparently, Thirsty Suitors, Bounty Star, The Morose Tale of the Graveyard. Wait, where's the most? Tale of the Graveyard, Clem. Wait, that's a really long title. I was like, is that 2 games? Like, no. Bounty Star, the morose tale of Graveyard Clem.
Yes.
Okay. Marquette, Solar Ash, and Flock. So we don't really know too much about it. They did have a video kind of showing off a little bit of kind of what the games are, but yeah, like Flock looks really colorful and cute, and kind of like you're a bird and you go around gathering up like other creatures. I feel like I own a game called Flock, which I think was Team 17 based on the Worms franchise, where you got to collect all the sheep.
Flock or Flockers?
That's right. That's Flockers, right?
Yeah. I knew there was one called Flockers.
Yeah, and I think there is another game called Flock. Yeah, it is hard actually. But I guess some of them. Okay, so some of them have already launched on PlayStation. Solar Ash, for example, apparently is already on there. Should be a nice quick completion. But yeah, so I'm interested to see kind of what happens with Annapurna. I like that more stuff's coming to Game Pass. I think the Annapurna games are a really good fit.
I love Annapurna stuff. I think
you can trust them. You can trust Annapurna, even if they are trying something a little bit left of center.
Yeah.
That they're kind of like Devolver. You know, they have a hell of a lot more hits than they have misses.
Absolutely.
And I actually recently had a look at their catalog, because I've played quite a few of their games, but I just thought maybe I'll go back and I'll do like a publisher completion or developer completion, you know, get all of them. And then I saw that Ashen was in there.
Oh yes, yeah.
Which I don't really have a problem with the game, but it has 1137 gamer score. So my rounded gamer score would be forever ruined.
Yep.
Unacceptable.
Yep, I'm on the same page. But yeah, like I'm looking at the publisher stuff now. It's like, yeah, Gorogoa, What Remains of Edith Finch, Kentucky Route Zero, Donut County's great, Outer Wilds is incredible, Last Stop was okay, Telling Lies was interesting, 12 Minutes was interesting, Memoir Blue, Artful Escape was incredible. I know Charlotte played I Am Dead and said she quite enjoyed it. I
want to play that one too.
Sayonara Wild Hearts is one of those ones that I've been waiting to play for ages and just haven't got to.
So I know Wild Hearts is the one, even though the game is a couple of years old, actually that came out on my birthday in 2020 on Xbox. It's one of those games that it just pops up sometimes randomly. Like I'll be on Twitter and someone will be talking about video games, like, oh, what game did you blah, blah, blah. And people will be like, Sayonara Wild Hearts. It's just one of those games that people mention.
Yeah. It's like,
so I keep thinking,
interesting sort of, yeah.
Maybe I'll go back to that one day. Actually, how many times have we said that? I try not to say that, because either I'm going to go back and do it or I'm not. Gears of War 4 is probably about the only one.
I've made the mistake of adding a bunch of things to my play later for Game Pass, because now that's how I'm just kind of playing my new games, and it's already like overwhelming. I'm always like, fuck, there's too many things in here.
Yeah.
And I even finished one of them this week, and I was like, fuck, it's going to get replaced by 3 more. So I guess again, not much to say there. They kind of don't have a huge amount to talk about yet. No release dates or anything, but we'll be jumping. I mean, like I enjoyed Memoir Blue, so you know, always excited for the next Annapurna release. It
makes me wonder. Obviously, they've got a good relationship, because a Memoir Blue, Artful Escape, 12 Minutes, Last Stop. I think Telling Lies recently came onto Game Pass.
Yeah.
Kentucky. Outer Wilds, Donut County, they've all been on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I don't know if Sayonara Wild Hearts did ever make it onto Game Pass.
I don't think so. I think there was
maybe that, and I Am Dead.
I Am Dead's not on Game Pass.
No.
Then Gorogoa and What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yeah, and they've both had.
I think Ashen started on Game Pass. It might be out now.
Yeah.
So that's 2 out of their. What's that? I don't remember. The 2 out of their 15 games or so that have been on Game Pass. Obviously, they have a good relationship. Maybe Microsoft end up buying them sometime.
Maybe, I don't know. Like Annapurna is an interesting one, because like they also do more than just video games, right? Like they do like the reason they got like Daisy Ridley and Willem Dafoe and James McAvoy for 12 Minutes was that they do movie stuff too. Like they're an interactive like media art house sort of thing. So like video games is just one avenue of what they do. So again, because I think they got their start in film. So
they kind of know that.
Yeah, so they kind of, it's an interesting kind of like, this is their latest thing where they're like, oh, we're going to move into video games and kind of use them as an art form. And it really sort of shows. Doesn't always work out, but that's kind of just how that goes sometimes, right?
Yeah, I guess it doesn't always work out with movies either,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly. All right, next story. This is just kind of an interesting one. So recently, Halo Infinite's Forge mode got leaked. So again, what we've all been desperately waiting for. I did see a comic that was like, who wants to play Forge mode maps? And everyone's like, yay. And it's like, who wants to build them? Nobody.
Yeah.
Which is, kind of what happens. So someone has recreated PT within the Halo Forge, Infinite Forge, which I think is fucking awesome. Again, just kind of an interesting story, just sort of showing the creativity of people and how they just will not let that game die. Of the experience of walking through a spooky hallway, they're just like, no, we need this on every platform,
every single platform.
Yeah,
it just boggles my mind, like stuff like this, like PT, and there are many examples of it. People are like, give me this game. Like there are consoles listed on eBay that have PT on them, like PS4s that have PT on them that go for multiple times what their normal buying price would be because they've got PT on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, clearly there's a demand there, whether it's for that or whether it's for, I don't know, Battlefield Bad Company 3.
Sure.
Stuff like that. And I know you can't make a game overnight, but it'd have to be at least 5 years since PT came out.
Yeah.
That's enough time to make a game. It just seems like don't want that money. Don't want that money. And it's been probably closer to 10 years since Bad Company 2 came out. And anytime you ever see DICE talking about the next Battlefield game, everyone's like, give me Bad Company 3. I know that they've said, we don't really know what we do with it. But it's like, Half-Life 3 is probably a bad example of it because at this point, they've painted themselves in a corner. They don't know what they could do with it.
Sure.
But PT, like, hey, it's not that far gone that they could make it. And I'm sure, is it Konami?
Yeah,
Konami
still
own the rights to Silent Hill. Like, do you not like money? I don't.
Well, Konami apparently doesn't like anything to do with video games. They don't fucking, I don't know, like they just, like, because that was the whole thing with Kojima, right? Is that they got rid of him, canceled the whole project, and then just kind of it all disappeared. And now Kojima's working on something for Xbox.
They slapped him in the face with Metal Gear Survive as well, didn't they?
Exactly. And so it's like, the problem is that I don't think Konami would ever sell the IP, but I also don't trust them to make a good Silent Hill game. Like I know that
without Kojima, do you mean?
Well, just in general, but without Kojima, it definitely makes it difficult. But they haven't made a good Silent Hill in quite a long time. I mean, they haven't made a Silent Hill in quite a long time, let alone a good one. I think that, like,
is actually another example of what I was talking about.
People just asking for it and just not happening.
And then they tease you by putting Sam Fisher in
Ghost Recon
Wildlands, was it called?
Wildlands, yep. Yeah. And
they
went and got Michael Ironsides for that. And everyone's like, oh, they're doing it. No, they ain't doing it. That was a long time ago.
Wild. It's just wild to me. Like, you've got people that want this. And that means money. No, don't want it.
Not enough money. I think the thing with video game companies, I think we've seen is that it's not enough for them to make some of the money. They have to make all the money.
No, yeah.
And if they're not going to make all the money, they're not going to do it.
$1 every time you walk through the PT door to the next round, yeah?
Yeah, it's the cash machine. You got to swipe your card to get through.
Yeah.
And Cameron has also added in here that they also remade Black Ops Zombies, apparently, in Forge as well. So
that's so impressive because they do stuff like that in Minecraft as well with Redstone. And you're just like, wow. Wild, the amount of things that people can do.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to when Halo Infinite actually launches sometime later this year. So that'll be good.
I just like think about it. Like every time I hear someone talk about Halo Infinite, I'm like, what's the answer? Do they put it back in the oven for another year?
I mean, they should have
done delay it again because it would have been 7 years
something like
between
that,
Halo 5 and Halo Infinite. I'm like, it's not that far gone. This could be Sea of Thieves 2.0, right?
Maybe
bring back a Phoenix.
Yes, I think there is a potential for that, but I also think that Sea of Thieves was lucky because it started off real fucking rough and like very empty of content. Whereas Halo is like, let's put the multiplayer aside, right? Because that's kind of its own thing, and that has its own issues. But if we're talking about like the campaign and Forge and that kind of stuff, and like the co-op, like that story's been told. You know that most people most people are ever going to play that campaign have already played it. So it's like, how do you what do you do now that, you know, there's not much point in closing the door after the horse is bolted, right? It's like, okay, you go back and focus on the multiplayer. You put new modes in there. You try not to piss people off too much with microtransactions, and like, just, I don't know. Like, everything I hear about Halo is just a fucking kind of a train wreck, unfortunately, and I don't know if there's much there worth saving. I mean, people enjoy it. Like, when we did it for our charity stream, like, I had a really good time shooting Cameron in the face.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. And Charlotte as well, but that felt kind of unfair.
Fair.
But we were also like on our last legs. It was pretty rough, but.
Yeah, I was not having a great time.
I think like the core gameplay of Halo is like, the core is good. There is something really, really compelling. Like, there's the reason why it's lasted this long, and they haven't just sidelined it. But everything around it is just like, man, they really, you're right. They could have used another year in the oven, and even then, you know, that doesn't change bad business decisions. Anyway, we should probably get through some more of the news because we're only like 2 stories in. This is a quick one. Frogwares, everyone's favorite Sherlock Holmes / Sinking City / what was the other thing they did? I'm forgetting. But yeah, they're remaking an old Sherlock Holmes game where Sherlock Holmes fights Cthulhu.
Yeah.
That
sounds like fun. I mean,
yeah. So Frogwares have been famous for making these kinds of games where they're sort of detective series. They've had a bunch of Sherlock games ever since like the PC.
Did you mean Mag Runner Dark Pulse, that game from 2013?
Yes, that's the one. That's exactly the one I was thinking of. Yes. Yeah, that absolute fucking breakout hit.
Yeah.
So yes, it's the Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened, and it's one of the first Frogwares games. They're going to be basically remaking it because they had a bit of success with Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1. Again, they've rebooted this franchise so many times, it's kind of ridiculous. But
I'd like to see them have some good luck after they had all that trouble with their publisher a couple of years ago.
Yeah, because they had to republish a bunch of their stuff for their Redux. Was it Crimes and Punishment and Devil's Daughter and all that kind of stuff. Really unfortunate for them because they just kind of got fucked over on that.
Because that all got pulled anyway. Yeah,
yes, they had to go republish all of themselves. But apparently part of it's going to be funded by Kickstarter, which is interesting. Basically because because I think they're out in Eastern Europe, I think. So they're like, hey, we have a bit of uncertainty around like the war. So it's kind of like, okay, how are we going to do this? You know, do we have the money to do this? And so it's interesting.
Yeah, they're in Kiev.
Yeah, there you go,
Ukraine.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that like they were kind of they were the epitome of that sort of Euro jank kind of like, oh, this is an interesting kind of point and click, interesting concept, very rough around the edges, and they've just kind of gotten better over the years at kind of making these kinds of games. So yeah, I mean, I'll definitely give it a go. I don't know. Have you guys played any other Frogware games?
No.
I played the Sherlock game that went Games with Gold, I think it was, quite a few years ago.
They're on my list.
Yeah, because it was like Crimes and Punishment, Devil's Daughter. There was back on the 360, I think it had like versus Jack the Ripper, and then the Testament of Sherlock Holmes, I think.
Oh yeah, I played. It must have been Sherlock Holmes: Crime and Punishments. I've played that one. It was fine. It was good.
Yeah, it's like interesting games. I'd recommend Sinking City if you're into the kind of Cthulhu-esque. Like it's a little bit ropey. Like it has like it's like they were like, oh cool, we're gonna do a Sherlock game set in Cthulhu world, but you have like gunplay, so you need to shoot people, and like the combat is definitely the worst part of the game. But it's serviceable, and you can do it twice because they had to re-release it. So, but yes, I'm definitely interested. I'm gonna check that out. Cameron has also put a story in here saying that the Xbox X, Series X and S consoles will now boot up faster due to some new testing.
They already boot up pretty fast, like.
Yeah, apparently they're going to shorten the boot up animation from 9 seconds to 4 seconds. So you're going to have 5 seconds of extra gaming every time you boot up the Xbox. My response to this is, of course, why the fuck would you ever turn your Xbox off? That doesn't sound efficient at all. Just keep it on. Why?
Because so you're the reason power prices are going up.
Well, yeah, no shit. Absolutely. You kidding me?
How else are you supposed to do remote play if your Xbox is not sitting on standby?
Yeah, it's true.
Standby is different to... Oh, right. Yeah, because this was not the thing that shows up when you have it on standby. If your Xbox
is off, you can't use remote play. It has to be on standby.
Energy saving mode, then it doesn't work. Yeah.
No, I have the one where I hold down the control button and turn off, and it goes into standby mode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do any updates in the background or whatever it does. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I basically just shovel more dogs on the fire whenever I want to boot my Xbox up. I don't care. It's fine. Just got to keep it running.
Jeez.
Xbox tweeted about this, and they said "be on in 5" has a new meaning or something like that. And they put a comparison to the old animation to the new one, which is 5 seconds.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That's pretty cool, really.
Other news: Warhammer 40k Darktide has been delayed. I think again. I think this is the second delay that they've had, which is a little bit unfortunate because it looks like a really cool game. For those who don't know, it is a 4-person PvE squad-based run through a level over and over again, procedurally generated, similar to Left 4 Dead. Mm-hmm. Looks really good. They had a lot of success with Vermintide 1 and 2, so they've kind of done the 40k universe stuff. Actually, it looks pretty fucking sweet. I'm not a crazy fanatic for the 40k universe, but it is cool. I like the grim dark stuff. I think it's I'll be interested to see where. I don't know if this is gonna be my kind of game. We have to get a good group together, and it's probably gonna have really shit achievements. But
Vermintide didn't it?
Yeah, Vermintide had really rough achievements. So Fat Shark is the publisher, I believe, or developer, are still working on it. They're going to be doing some technical tests and beta in the few coming months, and so it's going to be pushed to later this year. Be interested to see if it makes that date as well, because there's been a lot of delays recently.
Apparently, this was talked about in the showcase. I don't recall that.
No, yeah. So it was going to be September 13th. Now is November 30th, which is that's November 30th is basically the last day you can release a game in a year, because things getting pushed to December is almost unheard of. It's December, January is too late, and then February, March is okay, we've got to get it out before financial year because it didn't make it out before November. So I don't know. I get the feeling this might end up being a February, March release at the end of the day. It's
weird though, only a 2-month delay. If they were going to delay it to February, I think they would have.
Yeah, that's true.
So when I see a small delay like that, it makes me think maybe they are really just putting the finishing touches on. Because usually you get a 6-month delay.
True.
Longer,
like Stalker or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's just a little. What do they call it? When you're playing poker and you have a really weak hand, but you just put a really small bet out, so everyone thinks you've got the best hand.
Just a light bluff.
Folds.
Yep.
There's a term for it. I just can't think of what it is, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So improving stability, performance, and mature key systems. Again, I don't think they're going to be doing art assets or anything. I think you're right. This is probably going to be more cleanup and just making sure the game works as opposed to building the game itself. But yeah, I mean, hey, I'll be interested to hear. I'm sure people in our community will give it a look. I think the squad-based stuff, we've been in a lot of more co-op stuff recently, so maybe it'd be a good fit. We'll see how it goes. Last month apparently they're working on lobby areas. Yeah, that's maybe it's the connectivity they need to look at. This isn't technically gaming, but I just wanted to put this in there. Meta, everyone's favorite Facebook, the artist formerly known as Facebook, is losing almost $1 billion a month in metaverse dream even after revenue dips. So this is just me.
Explain that to me, because I know what you just said.
Okay, so
I have no clue.
Okay, have you guys heard of the metaverse?
Yes, I have. I know all about the metaverse.
Right. So the metaverse, for those who don't know, Meta, which is again the reason they changed their name to Meta, formerly Facebook, have decided that Zuckerberg's like, this is the next big thing. We're going to invest a shitload of money into it. We're going to, because they own Oculus now, so they're like, the Oculus Quest is going to be your gateway into Ready Player One, basically.
Yeah.
They've also put the Quest up $100. No, which is like, that's just salt on the wound. Also, when I say $100, not like, oh, it's a brand new version. No, it just goes up $100. No new features. The
Artifex Mundi method.
Exactly. They were just like, oh, fuck you, pay me. So yeah, apparently, their investment has lost them $10 billion last year in this technology and the stuff. And over the previous 6 months has dropped almost another $6 billion. So they are losing $1 billion a month on something that doesn't fucking do anything, that no one is interested in. And it's absolutely insane. So yeah, again, there's not really much I want to say there except fuck you. Like, good, you deserve it. This is the worst thing I've ever heard of. It just sounds like trying to sell. It really feels like they're just trying to sell you bullshit for nothing.
Loaded with NFTs as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is, right? Like it's that kind of like. What a shame. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, couldn't happen to a nicer company. Yeah, and it's like Cameron says, it doesn't help that every social media manager help post I see needed help from Facebook, and they just say fuck you. Exactly, like Facebook. Like again, Facebook is a nightmare company.
Facebook, you know what gives me shits about Facebook? Follow some pages, like one of them being for Triple M, which is a radio station here, and occasionally they'll put up a joke. They do a joke every day, and they're awful usually.
Of course,
sometimes they're good, and I'll like make a comment like, "Oh, good joke, Billy." And then a fake page called Billy Brownless with 3 S's on the end or something comments to me, "You're a lucky winner," 4 months after I posted on it, and I'll report the profile as obviously being fake and leading to scams. And Facebook are like, yeah, this doesn't violate our terms and conditions.
Right, yeah. They're like, oh.
What? The same thing has actually been happening to Mighty Ape. So like Mighty Ape do... so like an online website here in New Zealand, and they have like these drawers that you can win. So every day they have a different item and it rolls over, so that at the end of the week they then have a draw for everybody, and they put all of the names into a post. They never contact you directly or anything like that, but they've been targeted recently by a bunch of different, like, what they'll do is they'll come in, create a brand new web page that has the same logo, same icon, same name, and comment and tell you to go to this link and be like, you're a winner. Same thing. But they've had to put a post out recently because they've just been inundated with so many of these. And they're like, we've reported every single time. And like every time I've seen them come up, I've reported them. And they just don't seem to do anything about it. It doesn't help that Facebook
does nothing.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I in one way I feel sorry for them. It's like they would get millions of those every day.
Yeah.
So someone's looked at it for 1 second going, yeah, that's fine, tick it off. But it's like, just spend... I don't know how you could look at it for 1 second and not actually recognize, because they all say the same thing. It's like the same words that they say.
Just spend some of that $10 billion on hiring some people to fix this shit.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there, I don't know. Also, I saw news today that apparently they're going to start, Instagram and Facebook are going to start showing you stuff that you don't follow. Just because they were like, oh.
They already do.
Wow. Yeah, they already do, right? And so
suggested for you. And it's like based on your interests. Yeah, they already do.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it actually is kind of based on my interest, but it's like
now apparently they're just going to go broader because they're losing too many people and the advertisers need to make more money. And yes, as a marketer, I know it's hypocritical of me to say, but it's like from a marketing perspective, I understand Facebook's role in marketing, but as a consumer, they can get fucked.
Yeah.
Also on to other terrible news. 1 year on, a better Ubisoft, which is for those who don't know, Ubisoft has had a lot of problems recently. We've talked about them quite a bit on the podcast in the past over the last year, and so we're 1 year on from basically the big blowout and the big controversy that came out around kind of all the terrible practices that were happening over there. And so there was a better Ubisoft, which was a organization that was basically founded to keep them on track, keep tracking all this kind of stuff. Basically found that none of its demands for improving workplace culture have been met. What a fucking surprise. Yeah, Ubisoft basically talked the talk, did not walk the walk at all. A quarter of the employees who signed the original open letter about them changing the stuff have already quit. And yeah, it was sort of penned, and then like this was kind of what do you got there, Alex?
Nothing.
Just something for Cameron.
No, we'll just keep going.
It's generic ice cream sandwich.
Yeah.
So again, this all happened around the same time as the Activision Blizzard stuff. And again, we kind of know how that's going. Rockstar also has gone through a similar issues, and they've also gone through a bit of a transformation. Although I did see a post that apparently there have been some changes over there recently. But yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, basically there was allegations of sexual harassment and assault from several high-ranking Ubisoft employees, and a wider culture of just ignoring and outright suppressing the problems, all the way up to company-level executives. And so yeah, there was. I remember when we talked about this. They were talking about like, we want to do all this, we want to do this, and all their demands were stop promoting and moving known offenders from studio to studio, team to team with no repercussions. The cycle needs to end. We want a collective seat at the table, have a meaningful say in how Ubisoft as a company moves forward from here. Cross-industry collaboration to agree to set ground rules and processes on all studios to handle these kinds of offenses in the future. Especially that's a huge one in particular, because obviously this is not an isolated incident. This is a big problem within the industry. And then this collaboration must heavily involve employees in non-management positions and union representatives.
It's one of those things that if you'd have said to me 12 months ago, what do you think is going to happen in 12 months? Probably this.
Yeah.
It was it sounded a lot like PR bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ubisoft going, yeah, we'll do these things, and then people go, all right, cool, they're going to change. We'll buy their games again. Yeah, uncancelled.
Yeah.
And then, people have a short memory often. I think as sad as it is, the more often that Ubisoft gets raised as a bad company, the less traction it's going to get. The same way, maybe this is not a fair, analogy, but the more that COVID was talked about, the less people pay attention to it, because like, oh man, this again.
People get
and it
burnt
shouldn't
out.
be like that when you're talking about, sexual harassment and that kind of stuff. It's like, I work in an office that's got 12 or 13 people working there, and there's no sexual harassment. We have a laugh about things, and, we move on. It's not, people aren't getting sexually harassed. It's not that hard to not be a shithead.
Yeah. Right, that's the thing. It's like they're not asking. They're asking for the literal bare minimum.
Yeah,
of
and they couldn't even do that, and it's pretty shit, really. But unfortunately, unsurprising.
Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, it is pretty much what we expected. But we're still seeing what happens with Activision and Blizzard, with them being acquired. We'll see if Bobby Kotick finally gets fucking given the axe.
How is he still there? Seriously,
I don't fucking know. It's unbelievable. But you're right. People have short memories, right? And they just wait for these things to blow over, and then just But
that's the thing, is that people, that are quite often vocal on Twitter and social media about these things. They're probably, I would say, they are actually legitimately pissed about this stuff.
Yeah.
I believe that is a fact. But the thing is, the next day, something else happens. Someone else being a massive dickhead, sexual harasser, something happens the next day, and then it happens the next day, and it happens every single day. You can't possibly keep across all of these things.
Yeah.
It's the problem, I think, with Ubisoft is that who was following up on them to make sure that they, to keep them accountable.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you should have to do that, but that should be built into this process. You can't be like, yeah, we'll do something better, and then 1 year later you've done fuck all and have no repercussions for it. Like, it's just wild to me that they can just get away with it. Like, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of fire where there's a lot of smoke here.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it. I don't get how they can do this and just get away with it. I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah. So, let's hope for some change in other parts and other businesses that can inspire stuff going forward. But it is hard to ethically buy video games, right? Because it's like there are so many people who work on these things that aren't shitheads, and it's just like, you know, the management level is obviously absolutely just a fucking nightmare.
The saying that I've come to have a really good understanding of lately is you don't want to know how the sausage is made.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's just
one thing that like I think about it in terms of video games a lot, but I also think about it in terms of like food, and this is a little bit light-hearted. So I used to love chocolate mousse, right? And then I saw my wife making chocolate mousse. Chocolate mousse is actually like whipped up eggs, right? Raw eggs that have not been cooked.
Yeah.
And then chocolate flavorings added to it. I didn't know that, and I can't eat chocolate mousse anymore because I'm not fucking eating raw eggs. I'm not bloody Rocky. I'm not doing it. But I'm like, I found out how the sausage was made. Nah, done. No more chocolate mousse.
I'm just picturing this amazing scene where you're just standing there and you've got the spray can of the chocolate mousse in your mouth, and you just look over and you see the eggs, and then you suddenly just like you have your fucking Jimmy Neutron moment where you realize it all comes together, and you just have to violently throw up off in the corner.
Yeah, or I'm about to go do training at the gym and I'm gonna have a big glass of chocolate mousse, not 6 eggs. Yeah. God,
Rocky's such a good movie.
Yeah.
You know, Maxibon has raw eggs, right, Alex? Apparently.
Stop!
There's a lot of things that have raw eggs, but I'm not going into this.
No, it's fine. You know, ignorance is bliss. And there's nowhere more ignorant than this podcast. So we've also I just chucked this in here because I just thought it was cute. The cat from Stray, everyone's favorite PlayStation game where you control a cyber cat, has been modded into Doom. So you can now play the cat in Doom. There's basically nothing else to the story. You should go check out the article in the video. It's pretty great. Stray Doom lets you rip and claw your way through Doom through everyone's favorite virtual feline. I don't know. Like, it's cute. You should check it out. It's very cute. Like, you need there's like a mod you need if you want to play it. It is playable, so it's not just a video.
It's so funny. Like, the game's like 30. It's over 30 years old now. I think it came out in 1991, 92.
91, yeah.
And still, like, people are modding stuff into it.
Everyone loves Doom, you know?
That's great. I think I posted this article years ago, but I saw someone had used the My Key Reader, which is the public transport system that has a screen on it. Someone made Doom run on one of those. Not on a tram or a train or anything, but it's like
the screen,
that's sick. Like, I love just stuff like that. There's a subreddit called Can It Run Doom or something. It was running on a pregnancy test, like one of those ones. Like, it's sick, man. I love Doom, and I love hearing stuff like this.
My favorite one was the rap that they taught you play Doom on the little trackball that it runs on. It was so good. So good.
Oh, I'll post a link to that later, man. I've not seen that.
It was great. All right, well, that's all the news we've got. I'll quickly look at the... there isn't much in terms of Game Pass updates at the moment. We've got Katamari and a few other games leaving, but by the time you hear this, chances are you'll already missed them. But we did get the August Games with Gold announced. So we have Calico, Scourgebringer, Saints Row 2, and Monaco. What's yours is mine. We did talk about how they're ending the service soon. So we'll be interested to see what the last few games are. I'm pretty sure they've already done Monaco and Saints Row 2 before, because I'm pretty sure I owed them that. So
they've definitely done Monaco. I'm pretty sure they've done Saints Row as well.
Calico's, I think, one of the only ones that's not been.
And because that hasn't been in Game Pass or anything, right?
No.
So that's
which I'm excited to have because I want it.
Yeah, me too, actually, because I've started it. And then Scourgebringer was on Game Pass, but I know a lot of people potentially missed it. Really cool game. I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, Scourgebringer's great.
Yep. Definitely recommend it.
Got a completion.
Yeah, it did a good job. Actually, it's not too difficult. There are some challenging achievements, but it's actually like a relatively good difficulty. All right, well, let's get into what we've been playing. I'll just quickly go first. Katamari, I finished up Katamari Damacy Reroll for it left Game Pass. I just did the one version. Really cool game. Always says it's welcome a lot, unfortunately, if you're trying to collect everything and get that last achievement. because
I've seen a lot of people have trouble with that. You got to collect every single item at least once in the game or something, right?
Yep, exactly. So it's like
that turned me off at bad.
And there's like 15 levels in the game, so it's like, okay, you need to know what level things are on. So you literally need a spreadsheet for the most part. And there's like 1,840 objects or something. There's a lot. I mean, and again, you'll get most of them just by playing through the game because, again, you need to roll up all kinds of shit. But there's a lot of stuff. It's like, okay, this is only on this level. This is only on this one. And so I spent a lot of time going through and replaying levels. And you also need to finish the level once you get the object. So if you get hit and you drop the thing, like I did a couple of times, and then get to the end of the level and then realize I don't have it anymore, I got to restart. Not the best experience.
Is there a tracker?
No, but they have a in-game collection thing where you can look at it'll tell you it'll give you like every location, the 3 locations, and say, okay, here's things that you can get in that location. So you can look at a spreadsheet and tick off. It's like, okay, I got this one, but I don't know what this one is, so I need to figure out where to get it. So it gives you at least a lot to work with, which is nice. But it is still quite a bit of work, unfortunately. But like, again, I love the game. I love the concept. The level of scale in that game is just incredible. Like starting off from being literally 5 centimeters tall on a table to rolling around, someone's house, and then going outside onto the porch and grabbing all stuff up there, and then suddenly you're out on the street and you're rolling through the street and you're a little like meter high, and then suddenly you're rolling up you're starting to roll up children and like animals. And then suddenly you're starting to roll up like cars, and then suddenly you're bigger than buildings, and you're starting to roll up buildings, and then you go out to a big city, you start rolling up skyscrapers and giant kraken, and then you start rolling up like cities themselves and islands, and then like the game kind of just expands out from there. You get to about, I think the max you can get to is about 800 meters from 5 centimeters, so it's crazy. And in the later games, like you get to the stage where you literally leave the planet and you literally start rolling up other planets out in the solar system to fill up a black hole. The end of the game actually has you rolling around the globe collecting countries, and it'll show the country you've collected as you go around it. So you got to collect all 300 or so. And New Zealand is on the map, so that was nice.
Hey, cool. Nice, you're included.
But yeah, I would definitely I love the game. I would recommend it. Again, you're probably not gonna have time to finish it on Game Pass right now. But if you're interested in the genre, it's a weird, interesting game. I've never seen anything else quite like it.
It reminded me a lot of Donut County.
Yeah, so Donut County definitely has a lot of inspiration from that. Yeah. And because he also did a game called Nobi Nobi Boy, which was sort of a similar weird, very strange, like not even really a game. It was kind of just more of like a interactive toy. But yeah, definitely, yeah. So I definitely recommend the Katamari series in general. I'm hoping that they remake the second one because that game's actually even better. And Katamari, Beautiful Katamari is still on the 360. I think it's also backwards compatible. So and it has multiplayer and fun things like that. But yeah, so that was cool. I've been doing some more Fall Guys. I am down to my last 2 achievements. So I got my 20 race wins with Tiptoe, which they had a Tiptoe tournament, which was literally just the Tiptoe mode 3 times in a row, which has made it nice and easy. Well, I say easy. Tiptoe is the mode where there's a bunch of tiles and you don't know which ones are real, and you got to try and figure out what the path is to the end. So it's basically that scene from Squid Game with the glass.
I was about to say it's that episode of Squid Game. Yeah,
complete with someone getting to the like finding the next tile, and then everyone like come behind them and pushing them onto the next one to see if it's the next one, and then falling through the floor and being like, oh, I guess it wasn't that one. We'll go a different direction. People are real fucking dicks in that game.
I can imagine.
Yep.
So yeah, so I managed to get that done, which I'm really happy about because that was kind of the last really difficult achievement. So all I've got left is to qualify from 500 rounds. So I think I'm at like 420 or something. And then
Did you blaze it?
Yes, absolutely. And then I need to buy like 50 like items from the store, and I'm using the free currency. So you do the daily challenges, you get enough to buy like 1 item. So it's going to take like another 20 days or so. So hopefully I'll have it done later next month. And then the main thing, which I also based Song of the Week on, is Chorus. So I talked a little bit about this a couple weeks ago when I started it in Game Pass. This game's great. It is a really arcadey space combat sim where you essentially play a chick with psychic powers who has a ship that can like teleport. And again, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but the whole thing is that like you escape your cult, you come back, and the cult finally like gets to where you escaped to like the rim of the galaxy, and you realize you have to fight back against them. And I don't want to give too much more about it away, but it involves like interdimensional demons and like weird superpowers. The
father who breathes kind of funny.
Kind of like, yeah, like it has like, okay. So like I talked about this game last time and I was like, man, someone was like, man, Jedi Starfighter was a cool fucking game on the PlayStation 2. I want to make one of those. And they were like, yeah. So I was like, okay. Like literally the last ability you get in the game is literally go near a ship, pick it up and force throw it at someone else. And like you get it like right at the end of the game, but you have all kinds of cool powers. A lot of really cool side missions. You can mostly mainline the game and get most of the achievements. Like it's most of it story related, and the stuff that isn't story related, it's like do like 30 side quests. Like I did all the side quests even after I got that achievement because I really enjoyed the world. I really enjoyed the game. You can put it on easy and just sort of like, there's something really satisfying of like, you have like 10 enemy ships drop out of hyperspace and suddenly, will come through an interdimensional portal and be like, all right, we're going to fuck you up. And then you hit them with a lightning blast to stun them. You teleport behind one of them, shoot them, grab another one with your force powers, throw them into another one, and then turn yourself into like a shooting star and just spear your way through another group of them. And they're like all dead in like 10 seconds. And it's like on easy, like I died like maybe 5 times because I crashed into something and like, did a bad turn or whatever. Like it's really, really simple. Really, really satisfying. What the acting is a little bit. It's okay, like the main character Nara, her voice actor, she does a lot of this like whispering thing, which is like her internal monologue.
That was weird.
It gets kind of weird and annoying, but and the story is not super well explained. It's a bit kind of like confusing. But overall, really, really good addition to Game Pass. I recommend anyone who has any interest in this kind of stuff, play it. The only thing to be careful of is sometimes the achievements won't pop until you restart the game.
Oh, like Destiny.
Yeah, so that's
Destiny
the thing.
2, I think, was like that, was it? Or was it Destiny 1? We had to rejoin the server.
Yeah, it has some weird thing where apparently it's something to do. The thinking is that it has something to do with quick resume, and that it doesn't work quite right. So if you boot the game back up again and earn an achievement, so like I went through and earned like 4 achievements, and I was like, I feel like I should have got an achievement. Looked at the list, and I'm like, no, I've done that, and then I restarted the game, and they all just popped all at once. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. Like, so my timestamps look a bit weird, but like at the end of the day, they work just fine. But yeah, definitely recommend it. It took me about 19 hours, maybe just close to 20 hours. So it's not a huge investment, and like I said, it's not that difficult, and it's got TA bloat. Like I think it's sitting at like a 2.9, but it's easy like a 1.6 in terms of like difficulty. But yeah, definitely recommend it. Get on it. I don't know actually how much I earned this week. I didn't keep track of that. But probably not a lot because I haven't really been playing a huge amount. That's pretty much all I've been doing. I played a little bit of Forza as well, but that's not that exciting. Alex, what about you?
Yeah, so I was thinking about a few games to talk about because it's of course been a while since I had been on. So I just picked 4 that I really liked or I thought were relevant. But last night I finished Space Warlord Organ Trading Simulator.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a good game, man.
I said it.
I know, you said
so
it, and I'm
good.
like, every time I see it, I'm like, I've got to tag Charlotte in this. Like,
100%.
it's so much fun. Like, I guess if you thought too much about it, you'd be like, yeah, it's kind of grim though.
Like a little bit, but it's just fun.
Yeah, it's just so much fun that you forget about the grimness. Like, I mean, there's some things in there that you're buying, and it's like, what is that? What is a shift flux?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that. I'm like, is that a real part of the body, or are they just making things up?
Like half of the organs sound like they're weird.
Like spleens and hearts and livers and intestines and like all real things. And you're like, song valve. What? So I enjoyed up until the last probably 1 or 2 achievements. So my last 2 would pay off the 15 traders. Yeah. Which is easy enough. Like every day you get someone there. I mean, it's 1,700 credits for one of them, 80 credits for another. Like you could just rotate, and if you're struggling for money, just rotate through them and do that. And then collect 52 meters of small intestines. I had my 10 slots, and 9 of them were small intestines, and 1 of them was a long intestine. I was 53 meters, so I was done. But yeah, great, really, really good game. It's on Game Pass. I don't think it's leaving, is it?
No,
not
one of the ones that's leaving. Yeah, a lot of fun, and it took me about 4 or 5 hours to finish, so
yeah,
not too bad. But one that I did play and finish up earlier this week was Raji, an ancient epic. The enhanced edition now, as I started it, it just changed it over to that. I don't know what was enhanced about it. All I know is that the tile changed to enhance. I didn't bother looking at that. I was just playing it to Valak it really because it was leaving. But it's actually really good. Like if you have an interest in Indian mythology, which I actually think is a really interesting mythology, with all the different gods that they have and their culture, I think it's really fascinating. So I found myself, there are things that you have to go and listen to for achievements. Cameron, don't walk away until you finish listening to them, or you have to replay parts of the game. You don't chapter select, you replay the game.
Yeah.
That's the problem with it. But it does have tracking, so you can click on it and then the tracker will go up when you finish listening to it. But yeah, I would go through, click them, and I would listen to all the things that they're talking about. The movement, the platforming movement is kind of like Prince of Persia Light. The combat is fine. X light attack, Y heavy attack, and dodge. And there's a special attack. Like it's pretty straightforward. But the problem that I had was the final boss. So 2 problems I had. I don't know if they changed it from the Epic Edition, the Enhanced Edition, but the walkthrough described enemies in almost every encounter differently. They said at the start of it, play on easy. I did play on easy. And probably 8 out of 10 encounters had different enemies to what was described. Sometimes more, sometimes less, sometimes different enemies totally. So I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on there.
I think that's probably an enhanced edition thing because I was
that
seeing
would be my thought.
They've changed a story mode as well, which basically makes Raji invincible and will one-shot kill. But I mean that she's also susceptible to one-shots. So there is that's a new mode that they've added. It's a new story mode. And the only other things that they've said is visual tweaks, rebalanced combat, and bug fixes and more.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there's a big bug in my second issue with the game is the final boss. That final boss is a dead set piece of shit.
Yeah.
To play. Like, I was lucky. Like, I actually think it's more luck-based than it is skill-based. Because I was, for the entire match, mashing the dodge button.
Yeah.
So I'm dodging the entire time. And like, while I'm mid-jump in my dodge, I'm hitting X to attack. So I'm flipping through the air to dodge. And then I'm attacking him with this shuriken thing that I've got floating around me. I'm like, how could I possibly have dodged that any better? I hit you while I'm mid-dodge. Like, I just don't understand it. It's sort of like the game sometimes decides you're going to get hit by this attack.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's how it's coded, but that's how it plays. And it's super frustrating. So like I said, I played it. It was about 10 times in a row and I got it done. But like I'm dodging like every dodge that I can in midair. I'm hitting him with this shuriken. He gets his extra phases and then it obviously gets harder. So it was more luck-based than anything else, which is never a good sign in a game. And I actually posted about it on Twitter that I finished it. And because I tagged, I don't know, maybe I tagged the developer or Game Pass or something, someone actually asked me how I beat the final boss. Because they were having a problem as well. So, yeah, it's good. Apart from that, it's just an enormous difficulty spike. I don't know if I was doing something wrong. Maybe I should have been waiting to time the dodges, but I don't know. I mean, I'm dodging the whole time. I did that through the rest of the game and I didn't really have the trouble. So, I mean, I'm not sure. But it is leaving Game Pass. Probably by the time you hear this, it's gone. I think it was the 31st it'll be gone. So, yeah, it'll be gone by the time you hear this. But it is good. Just get lucky with the final boss. That's all I can say. I've been also playing Sniper Elite 4 with Aftos.
Yes.
Authentic difficulty. Playing that, well, I wouldn't even say we're playing properly. because there's an exploit where if you have the person host the game, like hide back in the level, when you inevitably go down as the non-host, you force quit the game, they send you an invite and you come back in, right? So you get like another life. Obviously the game wasn't meant to be played that way. It was meant to be if you died and you didn't get picked up, you lose a level. But we played the first level and Aftos having a bad time with me swearing a lot. It is hard, man. Like,
yeah,
we went straight from, we played on the second difficulty, which I think is Marksman, which isn't super easy. Like, if you aggro enough enemies, they'll smoke you. Yeah, there's no question. But to also couple that with playing on Authentic Plus, oh, man, I couldn't hit a freaking house if I was shooting at it. It is so hard. We've got one level finished, so I guess we've got 7 more to go, but poor boy, man. Pray for Aftos. Pray for his ears.
There is something really satisfying about playing that game on Cadet and just being like point, shoot, gone. Like, it's just shooting so satisfying.
Eyes out of people's head and shooting their balls off. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we haven't played the DLC yet, so maybe we'll play some DLC, come back, do some Authentic, maybe chop and change. But yeah, I'm regretting maybe not talking to what's his name on Twitter and be like, "Hey, can you
Bond in a box?" Yeah.
It
was funny because so I went and did that while Nick was away, right? And he comes back and I was like, "Oh yeah, I got Authentic difficulty done." He's like, "What?" I was like, "No, yeah, I just got Bond to help me out with it." And he's like, "No, don't worry, but I'll just do it on my own. Right?" And so we did everything else. We did all the DLC, and so he's off to do Authentic. And then he comes back, and 2 weeks later, he comes back and be like, "So yeah, you got that link to the Bond in the box guy?" I'm like, "Oh, I see." He's like, "Yeah, no, fucking, I gave it a college try, but it's a nightmare. I just want to get it done."
It's very, very difficult, and I mean that's the point, right? Yeah. It's sniping with no assists, nothing. But from anything other than short range with a rifle, I can't hit anything. Yeah. I'm trying to get lucky with a shot, and they're just like, "Oh, did someone shoot?" Bang, everyone's on you. And you're like, come on, bro. But anyway, that is what it is. But the game I've probably spent the most time playing in recent times is a game probably not many people will have heard of. It's called Last Stand Aftermath. Matt, I think you were at PAX when this was in the indie area.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounded vaguely familiar. Yeah.
So this game is roguelite.
Yeah.
Roguelite, the one where you get progress and level up in between runs. Yeah, so it's roguelite. And it's twin stick. Well, it's kind of shooting is twin stick, but there's also a lot of focus on melee attacks, which you just press X to do. It's in a zombie world. You start as a survivor who's been infected, and the camp asks you to leave the camp and like scavenge supplies for them because you're going to die. There's no cure. There is an inhibitor, I can't remember what it's called, that gives you extra time. But basically you leave the camp and your health starts ticking down immediately. Right. So it's kind of grim, but I mean, zombies, it is such a good game. And 2 years in a row, this was the thing I was most excited about at PAX. And these guys are from Queensland, I believe. So,
cool.
You know, good Aussie blokes as well. I mean, not that means anything, but I was excited to play it, and I waited until the achievements were obtainable. That's probably the one drawback for this game. There's about 3 or 4 achievements you have to get from starting a fresh game.
Right.
So there's one for getting like 25 inhibitors, 25 supply crates, and killing 10 survivors. So you start the game, it'll count as many as you've got until you turn your Xbox off or quit the game, and then it doesn't track anymore.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
So to get those ones, you have to start a new save, and then it will track the ones that you do until you turn your Xbox off.
Right.
Thankfully, it's not too much trouble. Getting 25 supply bags is a pain in the ass, but everything else is fine. The other pain in the ass achievement is completing 5 runs. So you can do that on your existing save, but you have to complete 5 runs without quitting the game, without turning your Xbox off. And by the time you're leveled up enough to do it, it's probably 45 minutes to an hour per run.
Ooh, okay.
And there's not guarantee you're going to do 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Having said that, I don't want to shit on it too much. They are a small developer. The game is a lot of fun. You know, like leveling up. Like I first leveled up my get more knowledge perks, which means you get more knowledge faster, so you can level up all your other gear. Like I've turned down the speed at which the infection takes your life away, all sorts of stuff. You know, your melee damage. You know, obviously you go through. It's like an RPG tree, just about. There's 4 tabs worth of stuff, but this game is awesome. I paid 38 Australian dollars for it, full price, and I'm considering once I finish this of it, there's a Japanese stack. So I'm probably if I finish it, I'm probably going to contact Sangrias and try and see if he can maybe hook me up with a Japanese code for it. No one's finished that one yet, but I love this game. I love it. It's not perfect, but no game really is. But man, it is a lot of fun. And I reckon I'm probably going to give it a 5 once I finish with it because, damn, it's just so good.
Oh, yeah, I've never even heard of it. Well, I mean, like, again, in terms of, like, people actually playing it, like, no one I've spoken to has actually, like, even brought it up, which is really interesting because it sounds really, really cool.
So 2 other people on my friends list have played it. One of them started it because he saw it and was like, oh, what do you think of this? And I was like, man, it's fucking great. And he's like, yeah, all right. So he started playing it. And the other person that played it is Nev.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so RIP Nev, but no, it's rare to see games that so few people on my friend list have played.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is a bit dear if you're looking for a cheaper game. This maybe isn't it, but I mean, I'm 15 hours in. I've got 7 achievements left, and they're going to take me a long time, like max level, complete 5 runs, get the supply bags, and a couple of other things that are late game. But yeah, it's got that roguelike hook, you know? Yeah, I was an hour and 40. No, it was 2 hours and something minutes into it, and I died on the last level. It is what it is.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's roguelike for you. But I did have a look at how much gamer score I got this week. 1,215. Even tied 2 Sorcerer's Mirror can piss off. I played it. One of the story achievements didn't unlock.
Oh, come on.
And then I sped run my save back to that point, and it didn't unlock.
Oh, no.
So I've deleted my save, and I'm going to speed run back to it. The Hawkeye achievement for unlocking 3 items in 3 seconds didn't unlock until I deleted my save and started again. So I'm thinking maybe if I speed run it on a fresh save, it'll give it to me. But
good luck.
Not happy.
Yeah.
80% of players have unlocked it.
So you're just very unlucky.
Not me.
Yeah.
1,215 though for the week. So yeah.
All right. Charlotte?
Yeah. So, because I've been away for like a week, I've actually been completing a bunch of games this month. I'm up to 12 games completed so far. I've done Tunic, Escape Academy, Lost Words on the PC.
Wow. I forgot about Escape Academy.
Yeah. Full Throttle, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, and Forgotten Anne. So they were all pretty good because I've now got my PC, so I can do a couple of PC games, and I did a couple on the laptop as well. And I'm working on Dodgeball. I also need to work on Raji as well because I have started both of those two. I've been streaming Lost in Random, which I freaking love. It's amazing. I cannot get over how good this game is. Like, it's like a gothic Alice in Wonderland Psychonauts. It's awesome. I really, really, really like it. The fighting is actually not that bad once you get used to it, because you have to roll the dice, and then whatever number you get on the dice is how many points you can use towards redeeming the cards. And cards can be 3 different types, so they could be a weapon, a cheat, or health, and actually 4. So there's another one that you can use, but I've forgotten what it is. But you can use them to redeem weapons, and so far I think I've upgraded and bought extra cards too, so I now have like a dice mace, which is basically like, it's like a D20 on the top of like a hammer. Right. It's real cool. So I can use that and like hit things with that. I can have an arrow, like my slingshot turns into an arrow, so I have 10 arrows that I can use to shoot. I can have a sword, and then there's like mines and bombs, and then there's this chaos D20, so it's a demonic D20 that literally just goes skidding across the area and attacks anything in its path and like hits and bounces off anything in the area, in the closed off area. So every time you go into a fight, it basically will block you in, so you can only run around this little tiny area. And I'm still hunting through the different towns to find my sister, so I've only got to one town, and I think I'm at 2 town now, and everything's like split, which is really interesting. So it's all like good and bad, and everything's twins and that kind of thing.
50-50.
So, yeah, everything's 50-50, which is really cool. So I'm really enjoying playing that. So I'm saving that one just for when I'm streaming. So that's going to be like every Wednesdays. And then I also started Seasons After 4, which is really cute. Just run around as a fox, collecting
I really
spirits.
like the fox in that game.
Yeah,
It's a nice game.
yeah, it's really pretty. I like it. And
The
I'm
start's a little bit grim, isn't it?
a little bit, but that's okay. It's still fun. I like it. Either way, I'm gonna see where the story goes, because I don't know anything else about it, which is really cool. 2,455 gamer score for the week.
Oh, kill me.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah, also I completely forgot we played Escape Academy and had a fucking amazing time. That game is great. The game
It's
is
such
so
a
good.
good game.
How long did it take you? I presume you completed. You both completed.
Yeah,
we
we
both
both
completed
completed it. How long was the time in the end? I didn't
Like
look.
3-4 hours, I think.
Yeah, like
around there.
it says 4 to 5 hours is the
Yeah, and
estimate.
we only got stuck on like one puzzle, so like
and that was because it was a really weird one too. Like
it didn't make a lot of
4
sense.
hours and 20 minutes. So estimate is 5 to 6 hours. Yeah.
Really good co-op game. I like 100% my kind of game. I love kind of doing those kind of smart puzzles and stuff. It reminded me a lot of those kind of like We Were Here and those kinds of games.
And the kind of
but
escape
No
room
puzzle,
kind of thing.
like that stupid bloody maze in the second
No,
one.
there is no maze puzzle. I was just about to say.
I don't know how anyone legitimately finishes that.
Yeah, Kirby and I had a
That's
fun time with
bullshit.
it. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend it. They've already said that they're going to do like 2 DLC packs for it already.
Extra, yeah.
So I'm just.
Which I'll be keen to do when they start. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably just pick them up straight away as soon as they come out because I really enjoyed the game. Anyway, let's keep trucking on. So we've got the leaderboard. Charlotte, do you want to run through that?
Yep. I just got to flick back to the page. So in our leaderboard, we have in third place Mephisto for the win on 8,390. Then we have Red 047 on 14,690. And a Grey Shark in first place with 19,080 gamer score.
He's about to hit his million.
I was going to say, does he have a milestone to announce?
He's getting close. Not yet.
He's
getting real close. He's
like...
like...
do it this weekend.
Yeah, he's basically just edging it. It's fine. He'll get there.
Speaking of edging, do you want to get through to the completions?
Yeah. So we have Red 047 with Bright Memory Infinite. DreamWorks Spirit and 1,000 games completed, so he can now retire and just do whatever he wants. He's in the zone. We have Ozone with Realm Royale, Chin Doctor with Dodgeball Academy. I meant to say Academia. Academy. A Grey Shark with lots of baby games, and he's currently sitting on 999,080 gamer score. So he's almost there. Happy Moogles completed Spellbreak. Rapture did a bunch of games, and Raji. Shadowless Edge completed Dodgeball Academy. Kruger hit 76% completion percentage, which is pretty cool. ZNMS completed Paparazzi. Galaxy completed Alan Wake Remastered, and Crucible 101 completed The Outer Worlds.
A lot of good completions this week.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff in there that I need to get back to.
Did you end up finishing Alan Wake, Matt?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it was good. It was really good to go back to. Like I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed the game originally because it's been so long.
Enjoyed collecting the coffee thermoses.
I mean, at least the walkthrough was good for that, right? Like I used the 360 walkthrough is identical, so it was like okay, at least it was that. But
I reckon I've got like 4 or 5 achievements left. Like finish on Nightmare, and then do the speed runs.
No, the no-death runs.
Get from here to here in 20 minutes without dying or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's that boss speed run to beat it in 30 seconds. I'm not going back to it, but
it's not too bad. It's not too bad, but you just kind of have to. Yeah, I get what you mean though. All right. Well, word challenge. So, last week we had a lucky guess in the word challenge, and they got it right. So, I was like, we were in the middle of recording the show. And it was like, oh, yeah, Jeff had a great clue ready to go. I was like, cool, we're sorted. And fucking, just did.
What was your clue? I know you said on the show you were very happy with next week's clue. Do you want to share it?
So I've basically rolled over the clue to this week's. I obviously modified it a little bit for the new one. But the clue is, let me see what I've written down here. This game has over 30 achievements. That's it. That's all you're getting. So
I can't laugh because your clues, even as unhelpful as they are a lot more helpful
than Kirby's.
Yeah, way better than Kirby's. Right?
Kirby's clue would be like 9.
Yeah, 9. Yeah,
and you'd be like 9 what? And he'd be like 9.
Yeah, so at least I have actual clues, so you can start eliminating stuff. I will warn you, no one's getting this game. No one's guessing this one. I don't think anyone's going to get it till right at the end. It's going to be similar to Super Time Force. I don't think anyone's going to get it, but we shall see. But yes, game has over 30 achievements. Could have 31, could have 101. Try and figure it out. So good luck to everyone. And yes, if you put the witness, people have noticed that if you put the witness, you get a GIF that says, "How about no?" with Dr. Evil, because it's not the fucking witness, all right?
Finally. Did you load that with like the witness with a capital T but a small W and like a small T and a small W?
No, I did it with just capital T, capital W. So, Jesus Christ, because I got so fucking tired of people saying it was the witness. It is not the witness.
I don't even remember how that started. Did I start that?
I have no fucking idea.
I was definitely perpetuating it, but I don't
you definitely were not helping. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Anyway, let's get on to our Patrons. So patreon.com/WallerGamers. If you don't know what that is, basically it's a place where you can give us some money on a monthly basis so we can afford to do the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we get. It basically helps us pay for licensing, for for Zoom, for hosting the podcast on Buzzsprout, for equipment, for prizes like the Word Challenge, and also for our Patreon contest, where we choose 4 different games that have recently come out that usually aren't on Game Pass, that look a bit interesting, usually indie titles, and the community votes on what one they want to win, and then we draw a lucky winner. And I'm happy to say the winner for Lumberjack, which got 56% of the votes, is Gary. Congratulations, Gary. Make sure you get in touch with us. We'll get you that code. We'll have a new bunch of games probably next week, I think, when the new month starts, and we've put that together. We're still looking to do our episode of Lights, Camera, and Action. That's been delayed with Cameron taking his break, but we'll circle back to that. We are still planning on doing Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim, he is gonna froth.
He's very excited. We're also looking at doing another special show that Cameron has come up with for Patreon. We're still workshopping a little bit. I've got the first episode where it's a little bit of a sort of overview of sort of smaller indie titles that have come out that you might have missed. Cameron was workshopping the title in the Discord, so you might have seen that. I've got the first edit of it. I'm going to give it a bit of a listen this weekend and then probably put it out. So if you're a Patreon, look forward to that. If you're not a Patreon, feel free to join us. I make all of our content available at any tier. Again, we're very aware that most people support us on Patreon because they want to support us. But we obviously want to feel like we're giving something back to you for value. At the highest tier, we do have merch and that kind of stuff. But if any tier you guys can support us at, we greatly, greatly appreciate it. And speaking of our Patrons, I'm going to go through our list. We've got Chapters, We've got the Natolinator, we've got Firehawk, we've got Mad Lefty, we've got G Spaceman Gary, we've got Admiral Awesome, we've got Odrin, we've got Keo, we've got Happy Moogles, we've got Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavalier 07, that would be Brad, so that would be what's he go by these days?
Old Mate Clown.
Old Mate Clown.
Old Mate Clown. Yeah.
We got Mark B and we got McLovin Legend. So again, thank you guys very much. We very much appreciate the support. And we hope to have more stuff for you guys in the future. All right. And that kind of brings us towards the end of the show. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to come hang out with us, we've got our Discord, discord.io/HallofGamers. You can come say hi, talk about the podcast, talk about movies. That's where the word challenge is. You can go guess whatever that game is, type it in there, see if you get you win your $20 if you guess it. But I don't think anyone's going to. I make it hard because, we get that money from the Patreon and we only get that once a month.
It is, for those wondering, it's not The Last Stand Aftermath because I just tried to guess it.
See,
it has 35 achievements and 739 people have played it.
That would have been fucking genius if I had thought to do that.
If it's The Last Stand Aftermath brackets JP, I'm going to be unhappy.
Yeah, okay, look, I will say, like, if it's a regional thing, don't worry about the brackets, whatever. I didn't include that. I'll give you a pass. I'm not that mean. I mean, I am, but just not in this case. Otherwise, if you want to help us out in other ways, you can come say hi to us on Twitch, like we do the show live every week. Hall of Gamers Pod. We're going to be doing the shows on Fridays going forward for now, while Cameron's away, just to keep it consistent. Just so our wonderful guest here, Alex, can join us. And we're also on, we've got an email, hallofgamerspodcast@gmail.com. Want to send in questions? We're also on Twitter @hallofgamerspod. Otherwise, subscribe to us on your platform of choice, retweet, leave us a review, tell your friends. Word of mouth is always a huge thing for us. We greatly appreciate it. And yeah, make sure you send us some questions. Isaac does a great job of asking us questions every week. But we want to get some more in there because we love chatting shit. It is very much what we do. All right. Alex, if you want to be found, what's the deets?
You can find me, Professor Pluto. It's all one word. On Xbox, on Twitter, on True Achievements.
What about on Twitch?
What's that?
What Twitch? Yeah, that's Twitch as well, right?
I actually can't tell you the last time I did a stream, but it's Professor Pluto _.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I got a new one. I got a new one. Yeah, Professor Pluto 1 got taken back, so it was Professor Pluto _ now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. Yep.
But yeah, if you want, come have a chat. I like talking video games. Just don't be a dickhead. But won't get any of that from here.
No, you definitely. Yeah. If you're gonna be a dickhead, at least be funny about it.
Yeah, that's acceptable. That's true.
Yeah. Charlotte.
Yeah, so I'm usually either AudreyChar or AudreyChar on Xbox, as well as the Hall of Gamers Patreon. I have my own as well, what you can find there on Linktree /AudreyChar. All of my links are there. Find me there.
Fantastic. And if you want to find me, I'm on Neomaster on everything, True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. All right, well, that's going to wrap up episode 47 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. Thank you very much to my special guests, Charlotte.
Thanks.
And to Alex for joining us.
You're welcome, my friend.
And thank you to our wonderful community for watching and listening every week. We greatly appreciate it. Have a fantastic week, everyone. We will see you guys later on. Peace.
Bye.